Hey everybody, welcome back to Trinity Dairy. Don't forget to like and share the video, leave a comment, subscribe if you haven't done so. You can also check out our merch store, and you can find us on Facebook and Instagram. Today is July 9th, 2024. Sun's shining. Sounds like we're going to get a few days break from some rain, which after last year I never thought I would say this, but that's going to be kind of a welcome thing. We've gotten quite a bit of hay made here at home. I've still got about probably 80 acres of hay on heavier soil that I'm not going to be able to get at yet for quite a while. But I know some guys that haven't even made any hay yet really to speak of. So hopefully I can kind of dry some of that out. We'll see. It looks like later on, maybe calling for some rain again. Which, I mean, you don't want it to obviously shut off completely. But a little break would be nice. But anyway, so we got all kinds of stuff going on. Been getting stuff ready. Jen and the older three kids are going to be going to the Aitkin County Fair. Showing two of the kids showing beef or dairy, and Justin's going to be showing his beef. So they're kind of getting ready for that. That's not our local fair, so it's not 4-H or anything. It's just open show. But I had to bring the square baler up last night and bale up a few small squares of straw because they needed some straw to bring out there. And I'm going to try to cut some hay today. I got that haybine that we just bought. I pulled it up last night. If you remember, there was a bolt that broke or came out on there for one of the head supports. So I took that off the parts machine. I put that back together last night. I haven't tried it or anything, but I'm sure it'll be fine. So we're going to try to cut that today. I think that's about 20 acres. Hopefully we can get that dry enough to dry bale. Here in the corral, I want to been just using this old water tank here. This one fills out of the barn. I mainly use it in the winter time. But I've got a bigger, longer steel tank up in the pasture that we usually keep on a keep fill. And this tank sits down at the bottom of the hill. So with all this rain, it's been just a mud hole for the cows to get in here. So I want to get this hooked up to get using that tank. So I think maybe today I'm going to try. That tank up there is kind of deep, so the cows can't usually drink it all the way down. And it needs to be cleaned out. So I might try to get it tipped over and clean it out today. And then Jen's got to pick up another hose to get enough hose up there. Because the one we had here was... We've been using it for something else. It got taken, so get this flowing again. Supposed to be hot, upper 80s. I think even close to 90 a few days. So I want to make sure the cows got plenty of access to good fresh water. And there's a lot of cows that can get at that tank, but we'll get up there and show that later. I got a guy coming this morning to buy a bull calf, and then I got to run up and get a propane cylinder filled. Because they're going to be bringing a little pickup camper to stay out there so they don't have to drive back and forth. And need a little propane. So let the dew kind of wear off, because I know that hay down there, I'm sure there's going to be spots that are really thick. So we'll let that dry out a little. There's probably even going to be spots down there that there's water standing, because it's down right along the river. And there's kind of some ditches through there. So I'm sure there's going to be water standing in a couple places. But there's plenty of sod. That's an old field. So anyway, we'll come back when we get something else going. All right, we made it back home, got the propane filled. So we're down here in the hay field now. Got this all ready to go again. That was a pretty easy fix with that bolt. So we got that done. I'm just putting the lock back here so we can set it down. And we'll see how it works here. This field is right down along the river, so there is mosquitoes down here like crazy, and I forgot to bring the mosquito spray, so hopefully it's enough into the day now where they kind of hibernate off for a little while. But we'll fire this up and try it out. This field there's trefoil in here, Timothy. It needs some fertilizer. It really should be probably plowed again, but sometimes this field floods in the spring pretty regular, so you got to kind of watch what you do. That's why my grandpa never plowed it. much because risk losing a lot of topsoil if it floods or kind of having a mess, but it's pretty decent hay yet. It's be really good for the dry cows and heifers, I think. But we'll see what's out here. I know the south end is a little bit thinner, but with all the rain we've had, I'm sure it's definitely worth cutting. Well, I made round and a half or so. I had to get off and put my little plastic deal over the drawbar of the tractor because the hay was catching underneath. This hay is really thick down here, way more than I figured. A lot of trefoil in it. I think I'm actually, because I'm going to try to dry bale this, but I think I'm going to probably wind up using the tedder out here just because it is pretty heavy, and with all that in there and with the ground being wet, you're not going to get a lot of drying from the underside. I do have it spread out pretty wide, but I don't think it would hurt it to get the tedder. We'll see. I don't know. We'll see what the weather is looking like and stuff, but we'll get it cut first. I made the first round and realized that I did not have the camera on, so that's what happens when your professional cameraman is at the dentist. You get second-rate camera work, but kicked it back on and came up here. It's cutting really nice. This hay is, like I said, it's really thick. I'm clipping right along. It's cutting it off nice and smooth. I don't know how well it shows up on here, but yeah, it's doing real well. So we're going to keep plugging away. I probably don't need a lot more footage of cutting because you've seen quite a bit of that, and there's going to be plenty more to come. So if I have anything interesting going on with this new machine, we'll come back to it. Otherwise, I'm gonna keep on cutting. Well, it's I think about 3:30 in the afternoon. I was down here cutting, it was going great, cutting really good, a lot of hay, it's thick. I ran up home, get some water. Jen's gone, so I buzzed up home, get a drink of water and something to eat, and coming back down here, and got just about back to the field, and my tire decided to leave me, and it's laying right there. So now I get to walk home and get a different tire. Well, I got back in the yard. I got a tire. I was just going to head back down and put it on, and you can see that the weather has changed a little bit. Imagine that. It's supposed to be hot and dry all week, except for today. So pop-up shower coming through. Doesn't seem like it's coming down too hard here, so I'm glad of that for the oats wise, because these little pop-up showers can really knock them out. But yeah, the hay's not really going to be drying much today. It's not really going to hurt it because it's just cut, and I wasn't finished, so I'm over half done. I don't have a lot left. The field really starts to go in a hurry in the middle because it's odd shaped. It starts getting to points. But once this blows over, we'll go get the tire on. I don't know if I'll be able to cut right away with this rain just because that hay is so thick. I think I'll be plugging, but if I don't get back out there this afternoon, because it's about chore time now, I'll probably get out there and finish it in the morning. But we'll see what this the last pop-up shower that came through the other day, we got an inch of rain out of it, so I guess we'll see what happens. Well, the rain passed, hatched out the mosquitoes down here by the river, but I'm going to try to at least get this tire on and get this thing moved out of the road down here. Like I said, I don't think I'm going to be able to cut any more this afternoon. Just with that blast of rain, I think it's going to plug up too much, so that'll have to wait till morning. Plus, I think the mosquitoes will eat me alive down here. But I'm going to see if I can get the tire switched out. look like I messed up the rim anyway. Dented up the edge a little bit, but I think that's still usable. We'll see if this tire I got is gonna fit. Should. Well, there we go. Should be back in action. I think this tire is a little bit taller than the other side, but I run it down on the shoes anyway, so I don't think that's going to hurt anything. We should be able to keep going again once it dries out, so I guess we'll have to wait. I don't know. It wasn't supposed to rain all week, and then this came through, so I guess the rest of the week is anybody's guess what's going to happen. But I think I'm definitely going to have to TED this now for sure, with it getting that rain on it, just to get it spread out, because they are pretty heavy windrows. So I guess we're gonna call that good for today. I did not get anything done with that big water tank today. I was hoping to. Jen, I think, picked up a hose because I needed extra hose, but so that might be on tomorrow's plate. But yeah, we'll come back tomorrow when we got something else going on. Well, we're back at it again. It's the next day. Sun is out now. It's supposed to be hot today, and it feels like it's going to be. That shot of rain that came through yesterday, I don't know how much we got. Joshua dumped out the rain gauge before I got a chance to look, but he doesn't know how to read the rain gauge. He said it was at 3, so I'm thinking it was 3 centimeters or whatever on there. I don't know. I'm guessing probably a couple tenths. There was places around us that got quite a bit heavier. It was just kind of a heavier band that went around us, which I'm glad of, because that rain and you get a blast of wind can sure raise heck with those oats. But I was gonna just look here. Well, no. Well, if it was at 3, that would have been over an inch. But I don't think we got that much. I don't know what he was reading. I'll have to ask him. But anyway, it wasn't, I don't think we got over an inch, because it would have made a lot more of a mess than that. But it's, hopefully we don't get any more of those surprises. Gonna go down this morning, try to get the rest of that hay cut, and then I'm hoping to get it tedded today, get it spread out, especially after that rain. I've got to bring the chainsaw down there. I've kind of forgot about it. I had a log in the field that I had drug out when I was hauling firewood out of there last winter, and there was one chunk left, about a 10-12 foot log. So I cut around it yesterday, but I got to bring the chainsaw down and dice it up and get it out of there, and then cut that little spot and get it tedded. Jen and the older 3 kids, they took off, get their cattle out to the fair. They're going to be out there for a few days. So I got the 2 younger boys here. They might be going to my mom and dad's later. But so I'm hoping to get that hay cut today, get it tedded. Then the dairy show is going to be tomorrow out there, so I would like to go out there to see that. And then there's 2 different days that Justin's doing beef showing. I probably won't be able to go for both, but I'd like to make it for one, depending on when that hay's ready. So we'll play that by ear. If we get more of them pop-up showers, I might not be baling any hay, but we'll see how that goes. But anyway, I got to fire up the 4-wheeler there. I got to bring some salt and mineral out for the dry cows and heifers. Open sesame.
Thank you, sesame.
Kind of one thing in this hot weather, you always think about water, but you don't always think about salt and mineral and how important that stuff is too for these cows when they're drinking a lot of water. There's a lot of that stuff going onto their system, but it's definitely important. All right, we got that filled. We just run out and check. I don't have many cattle out here. I got a bunch over at my dad's on pasture. I can't even remember. We've had some dry cows go out here and we've brought some in, so I think there's 7 or 8 something out here. I need to get out in this pasture. I'm getting a really bad thistle population. You maybe can't see it real well here, but I need to take the sickle mower or something out here and just clip them off. I was going to spray them, but you almost got to spray the whole pasture, and then you can't have the cattle out here for a while. So I guess maybe I'll try to clip some of them off. I got the milk cow pasture, the what is it, knapweed or whatever it's called. That's really thick this year. Places I've never really had it before. I should try to mow that too, but clip some of that off, let some of the, see if the grass will come up through it. But we'll save that for another day. But we'll go check them cows, and then we'll probably go start cutting some hay. Yeah, here they are, out munching. But yeah, you can see even right there, there's a big patch of them thistles, and up on the hill there's a lot of them. They kind of get going crazy, but hey Bambi, you always come up for the camera, don't you? All right, well, they look like they're doing okay. I'm sure they'll probably be standing down in the swamp later, which I don't really like, but they go in there to get out of the flies. They haven't been getting too bad. They've been staying out of the big swamp. There's kind of a water hole over here they've been standing in, and that there's enough water in there. They don't get into too much mud, but when it's drier out, they go stand in the bigger swamp over here, and that's all mud. So I got to try to fence them out of that, but they haven't been in there, I don't think, so far. They've been staying fairly clean, which is good. All right, girls, you look okay. We'll head out and leave you guys graze. All right, we're down in the field here. This is that log that I had kind of forgot about. I didn't hit it or anything. Once I got down coming around here, I remembered it was here, which was a good thing. But which in this field you're always kind of cautious anyhow, because this field tends to flood pretty often, so it's not really a surprise to find logs and stuff. I had a couple other spots I had to stop and throw some stuff out of here. So we'll get this cut up. I think I got enough gas in my chainsaw. I just grabbed it. I used up what I had left in the can, so, but it should be enough to cut this up and get it out of here. Some good worms down there for fishing. There we go, got that out of the way. This field down here in 2012, we had some big flooding. We had cut the hay here, had the field just cut because they weren't talking much rain. So we cut it, and then it was middle of June that year when it flooded. I can't remember the date, but we had it cut. Well, then it poured like crazy, and there's two rivers, a river on each side, and they meet back here. Well, there wound up being probably 10, 12 feet of water on this field. I mean, this was just like a lake. Yeah, I'm not exaggerating at that. There was at least 10 feet. And so we didn't know what was going to be, what kind of mess was going to be down here. But when the water went down, it was just like the field was just swept clean. There wasn't even a part of a windrow left. But you could look up in the trees. It's all gone now. I don't know if there's any left, but you know, about that 10-12 feet, there would be just hay, clumps of hay hanging in the trees. So it was kind of crazy. And then we had another, I think 2 years after, we got another flood, kind of the same deal. It wasn't as bad, but we had hay cut here again and it flooded. But that wasn't as strong. And then when it went down, some of the high spots, we were able to bale the hay, but the low spots, it was so full of mud. We took the tedder, I think, and we had just gotten that basket tedder and just blew that back out. And that worked pretty well. But yeah, that first year, it took all the hay. All right, well, we'll go fire up the haybine and see if it's dried out enough yet that I can start cutting. Well, we're not quite done yet, but I had a breakdown. Come through a dip here, and all of a sudden it stopped. And I wasn't sure what was going on. I got it all unplugged and all wound up. The PTO shaft here. I don't know how well you can see that, but it split out, so the other shaft was turning inside. But I was looking at how this was together, and it seems to me like this shaft is almost too far extended. So I think it looks like there's adjustments on this drawbar to move it in a little. I don't know, we've never had any other issue with the other machine, and that's where it's always been set. So I don't know, this is an older machine, I think. I don't know if that's set a little different or what, but because it doesn't seem like it was in there very far when it was driving it. So I might go back and just put the other one on just to finish this up, because I've only got a few minutes of cutting left out here. But I'm gonna maybe move that drawbar in a hole just to get that a little bit closer. I don't know if there's enough. I think this shaft that's on the haybine is probably wrecked, so I'll have to do something there. I got that parts machine, but I'm pretty sure that the PTO was already taken off of that before I got it. So I'll have to look around and see if I have anything else, or else we might have to put a new tube in there or something. So that one might shut this machine down for a little bit. But I don't think that was really a fault of the machine. It's probably more my fault for not checking that measurement. But like I said, the other machines run on here for 30 years and were better than that and never had any trouble. So something's a little different, but anyway, we'll probably get the other one on and finish this up. Back in the yard, I got our old machine hooked up here, but I was curious about that measurement as to why the other one broke, what was going on. So I got out the book for the haybine. So from the end of the PTO shaft to the center of the drawbar hole should be 14 inches. This one is 15. So I think what I'm going to do, because I was kind of looking at this one too, and it's right towards the end where that's grabbing. It's and I don't think this drawbar has ever been moved that I ever remember. And it's, even if it has, it's been years ago, and it's cut this a lot. But there is a hole underneath to slide that drawbar in. There's actually, I think, 2 different ones, but the one I think maybe is only a couple inches. So I think I'm going to do that because, and then we'll see how it works. If it binds up on the corners or something, I guess we'll have to change it back. But you can even tell on this shaft, you know, the end is a little bit worn out. So it must be driving kind of hard on that end. But so yeah, I'm going to climb under, pull the pin out, slide that drawbar ahead, and we're going to try that. There we go. Well, there, moved her in a little. If I go in anymore, I got to go way up here. That's like 8 inches. I think that'd be way too much. So, swing this back over. All right, we'll go check our measurements now. All right, I got my square here. We'll put that up to the edge of the shaft. There is 14. It's probably hard to tell from the camera, but looks like 14 right on the money. Right over the tractor hole there, so that's where it's supposed to be. I don't know. I'm thinking, you know, thinking back a few years back, I had the lower shaft that goes through the rear end for the 3-point arms. I had that rebuilt. So I don't know if he possibly had the drawbar out then. It shouldn't have really had to come out, but it's been out at one time because there was 2 different size bolts holding it up in there. But whether it got put back in the wrong hole at some time, but regardless, nothing's been done with it in the last probably 5 years at least. So that, and it was nothing. I know I've never adjusted this one for anything, but I guess we'll find out. But it should be right on where it's supposed to be now, so we'll try it out. Well, there we go, down in the field. I got this all finished now. Seemed to work good with that shortened up a little. It's too bad that wrecked that other PTO, but that's why it is nice to have 2 machines, because I was able to just hook onto this one and keep going. I don't think it'll be a big deal to find a different shaft, and I got to look at that parts one. I might have, I know the half that goes on the tractor is not there, but I don't remember if the other half is or not. If it is, then I've got one. I can still use the tractor half that is with this machine. But that is what it is. We got it cut. That's the main thing. It's dry and good today. Hopefully we don't get any more pop-up showers like yesterday. I talked to my dad. He said they got a 1/2 inch. So yesterday, and they're only maybe 4 or 5 miles from here. So that can kind of mess things up when you're trying to make hay, especially when it starts getting dry. That hay yesterday wasn't dry at all, really, so didn't hurt it. It's getting pretty crunchy on top. So yeah, it's definitely dry, and we'll get the tedder out here, blast it out, so that'll dry nice and even. Hoping to bale this Friday. It's Wednesday today. Get it tedded. I'm hoping to go to the fair tomorrow and watch the dairy show. They're talking pop-up storms maybe Saturday, so it'd be nice to get it done Friday. But so the tedding and all that stuff we'll have to put on the next video. But I want to thank everybody for watching. Hope you enjoy it, and we'll see you in the next one.